Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
Hey, I'm James Spann. This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video. This is for Monday, March 7th. Well, at least we're in the 50s today. We're about 10 degrees warmer than yesterday, but 10 degrees below average for this time of the year. Peek out the windows, some of the Skycam shots. That's the Birmingham Skycam. Thin clouds. These are high clouds. The low clouds are gone. Up at about 18 to 25,000 feet, but at least it's filtered sunshine. The sky is clearly brighter down in Chilton County at Clanton. That's view coming from downtown Clanton. And how about a look at the campus of Auburn University from our Skycam down in Lee County. The system that brought the soaking rain Saturday is long gone. And again, you can see the strong jet stream across the southern states pushing a veil of high clouds overhead. The low clouds are gone. And again, we're warmer than yesterday, but still way below average. These are at 2 o'clock. At that point, Birmingham had 52, Tuscaloosa 53. The warmest spot was Montgomery at 55. But we do think we'll make the 60s tomorrow. And there's the national numbers, and boy, that's some really cold air nosing down from Canada. Temperatures at midday are in the teens, down into Nebraska. And some of that will kind of ease in here Thursday following a midweek storm system. Another very active and changeable week for the state. On the watch warning map, winter weather issues for parts of the heartland. Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin. Back into the Rockies, a lot of wind advisories out west. And in advance of our developing storm, a standard risk of severe weather tomorrow and tomorrow night. That's the slight risk over all of all of Louisiana and Arkansas, in some of the adjacent states, including Oklahoma, Texas, Mississippi, and around Memphis. And there's the probabilities, the higher percentage of severe weather lined up from near New Orleans up to about McAlester, Oklahoma. And we'll keep an eye on things there. Then on day 3, which is Wednesday, all of Alabama's in the standard risk, a slight risk in all of Mississippi, and parts of the adjacent states. And again, it looks like it's going to be a squall line, and the timing will have a lot to do with the severe weather threat. And we'll investigate that in a moment. The QPF chart, look at those numbers coming up. Most Alabama communities had between 2 and 3 inches of rain Friday and Saturday, and by golly, this is suggesting 2-inch rains are likely for much of the state on Wednesday. And that's going to knock out a big chunk of this rain deficiency. About half of it was knocked out over the weekend, and we'll knock out a pretty good chunk of the rest on Wednesday. We'll check the RPM QPF. This is raw output from the RPM model, Rapid Precision Mesoscale, and it's got the, really, again, much of the state receiving 2-inch plus amounts. A few spots with over 3 inches down there below Tuscaloosa. Those are really darker shades. So another good soaker coming up at midweek. We'll peek at the GFS. This is the 12Z run, valid at noon tomorrow. Pretty good-looking trough off to the west. And down below that, the surface low is developing west of Oklahoma City. And good snows are likely in Kansas and Nebraska north of that low. And strong storms developing in the warm sector. Wednesday, the trough begins to phase up with the northern branch system. It's a positive tilt trough. A slightly negative tilt. To some degree, the trough axis lined up all the way from the Dakotas down into Louisiana. And there's the setup. The surface low at midday Wednesday is near Chicago with a trailing front. And the GFS is a little slower, not much, but the RPM is a good bit slower on this run. Let's look at the timing with that. This is valid at 2 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. And all of a sudden now, you've got the RPM showing the squall line coming through Wednesday afternoon instead of Wednesday morning. 2 o'clock, it's got that thing lined up from Huntsville down to about Vernon. 5 o'clock, pretty nasty-looking squall line there with some line echo wave pattern signatures in there coming through parts of east and central and south Alabama. It's lined up from near Anniston down to Clanton and just north of Mobile at 5 o'clock. So if this is right for the Birmingham Metro, thing might be coming through about 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. And then Wednesday at 9 o'clock, the storms are down in southeast Alabama from near Lafayette down to about Andalusia and Opp. And it's on the way out. So again, if the RPM is right, comes in later in the day, that would certainly bring in a little better chance of severe weather in the form of mainly damaging straight-line winds. But again, as we all know, within that squall line, there could be a few breaks and little spots where there could be some spin-up tornadoes. But again, the damaging straight-line wind threat would seem to be the greatest on Wednesday. So, and if the RPM is right now, we're talking, during the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. All right, Thursday, going to turn colder. Look at the 540 line down to Birmingham. That could be a pretty chilly day, It could be a lot like yesterday, clouds in the 40s all day. I know that the GFS is showing a high of 57. Well, guess what? It had a high yesterday of like 57, and the high was only 43. So the same thing could happen on Thursday, even some hint of wraparound snow flurries down into Tennessee and extreme northeast Alabama. It will probably feel like snow with the clouds and cold air advection. And then Friday, we'll start the day near freezing. The GFS is showing 33. And it depends on the clouds. If the clouds clear out, a good chance we do hit freezing. If not, we'll be in the mid-30s. But whatever. We'll go from the 30s Friday morning to near 60 Friday afternoon. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, looks great. Sunny with upper 60s likely. And pretty much the same deal on Sunday. Highs in the 66 to 70 degree range, more than likely on both of those days. Looks great this weekend. In a week from today, got a trough up north and also a trough down over the Rio Grande, and that keeps us dry. Tuesday the 15th, a week from tomorrow, still the moisture off to the west, and finally the middle of next week, that looks kind of showery and maybe stormy, so that could be our next opportunity for wet weather out there Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. We'll check to the end of the forecast on March the 23rd. Pretty cold look there for Canada, with the westerlies a little just north of here. And again, that's suggesting cold air for much of the plain states and kind of showery and mild down here. So again, as usual, I think changeable is going to be the word for the rest of March. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog, the next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening, ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a great evening, and God bless.
Each day, there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about home.
Sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.